Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you. Welcome to Maverick Landing. For the guests here, we have the mayor of the city of Boston with us, Mayor Michelle Wu. Can we give her a round of applause? I'm gonna give a quick snapshot of who our mayor is. She is a daughter of immigrants. She is a Boston public schools mom to 2 boys, and she loves the MBTA. She has been one of the most innovative mayors that we've had in some time, who really is thinking about the work from the very ground. Individuals like us in this room who've dealt with complications and we face challenges on a day-to-day basis, our mayor is a voice for those of us. She has experienced a lot of the challenges in which we have lived. She has dealt with a number of the myriad of thoughts and theories and interests that have left us in discomfort at moments of times with her own family, and is what really has catapulted her into the role in which she is in currently. And so today we're here to talk a little bit about digital equity and why that is invaluable for those of us who are on other side of this digital divide. And I want to give the mayor an opportunity to bring greetings.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you to Marvin for your incredible leadership over so many different issues and parts of our city, and now really to ensure that we're getting at that, in some ways, invisible infrastructure and divide and gaps that so many of our families are experiencing, and that even just in the last few years, we've seen, in some ways, jump from being something that's important to something that is really about living your fullest life, being healthy, having access to economic opportunity. It can all flow through what we're here to talk about today, which is digital equity. I am, as Marvin said, probably the thing that most defines me is being a mom. It is what, think about any issue that I'm considering, that's my first thought is, okay, how does this affect families? How does this affect the parent or grandparent or caregiver who's just trying to make ends meet and put food on the table? When it comes to digital equity, it's not often on the list of the first couple things that we hear about because people have so many different challenges, housing and jobs and schools, but it's underneath all of those things. I think about during the pandemic when my oldest child was starting kindergarten that year, and all of a sudden, you had to try to get a kindergartner to sit still for a Zoom kindergarten class with the computer, and that in of itself was a challenge. But then once we got connected, it took a long time even to get the laptops to every single family, and when you could sign in, you'd see that at any given moment, maybe half the kids in the class were there, and even the kids who were there, sometimes you couldn't hear what they were saying, and it was clear the teacher couldn't hear because of the internet connection wasn't strong enough. So in Boston, we really want to close the gap, not just so people have internet and it's there and the wires are in the ground, but that you're actually connected, that it's affordable, it's high quality, that you have a range of options with all the different choices and competition in the market, and that you have the equipment and skills and training and anything you need to actually make the most of that and turn that into opportunity.
Thank you, Mayor. Can we give her a round? I want to bring up one of our instructors, also a Tech Goes Home board member, who is doing this work on the ground and really making impact. I'm going to ask Mr. Antonio if he can join us for a second here.
So stand there. So, my name is Antonio. I'm an instructor for Tech Goes Home since 2014. I'm also the English Innovation Program Manager here at Maverick, and I'm also the Director of Workforce Development with Catholic Charities of Boston. I'm mentioning all these programs because all these programs that work directly with Tech Goes Home, and the introduction of technology and the availability of the devices that Tech Goes Home made possible has transformed the way we teach, has transformed our teaching approach, and has allowed us to reach our students where they are. It has been an innovative and successful and effective transformation. So we have no words to express our gratitude to your kind and always availability. I'm not saying that because I'm a member of the board and a long-time technology, but I have seen in local, and we have here palpable results of this introduction in the training program. So, and now, thank you.
Thank you. And Mayor, there's a point we should note. This group here is a part of the Immigrant Economic Recovery and Resilient Initiative. This program not only trains them, but it affords them career coaches so they can then transition to the marketplace, be contributors to the city of Boston and beyond in their respective areas of interest. So we are trying to make some direct connections, as you know and imagine, on a day-to-day basis to avoid the gaps that lie in this digital divide. Is there anyone here that might want to share their story and afford the mayor an opportunity to hear?
Hi, I appreciate it to be here. I'm so excited to see you here.
Hola, yo estoy muy agradecida de estar aquí y de estar aquí con usted.
Yo voy a hablar en español porque me da nervios hablar en inglés.
I'm going to speak in Spanish because I feel nervous speaking in English.
Okay. Todo empezó cuando yo entré por la puerta de Maverick Landing a estudiar inglés.
Everything started when I walked through the door of Maverick Landing to study English.
Ajá. Eso cambió mi vida desde ese momento porque pude empezar a mejorar mis cualidades de inglés, mi speaking English y leer, escribir.
That changed my whole life because I started learning my possibilities to not only speak English but to read and write as well.
En ese camino pude tener acceso al internet y desde ahí acceso a una laptop y a usar la tecnología y a tener una fuerte conexión de internet y de ahí todo abrió un abanico de oportunidades.
And the best part was I had access to the internet, to good communication, to the technology, and that opened for me a fan of different possibilities and options.
Okay. Porque desde ahí, entonces, empecé después a tomar mis clases de inglés online. Después asistí a un curso de BMC Program, que es Customer Service. También recibí mi career coaching, tomé mi career coaching.
I started off as my online, trying to learn online. Then I moved on to the career coaching and further on my possibilities too.
También seguí teniendo más cursos online de inglés y ahora estoy con JBS en un curso avanzado de inglés. Además tuve acceso como a los beneficios y aprender más de cómo funciona la ciudad, cómo buscar trabajo, cómo mejorar mi resumen y todo pudiendo tener una laptop y conexión a internet estable. Cambió mi vida y la de mi familia, la de mis amigos, porque yo los motivo a ellos a hacer lo mismo.
And JBS was really helpful to me to make me improve my life, not only as just by myself, for myself, to my family, to my friends, and that opened up a lot of different options for me to become so much better in all the things that I wanted to do.
Y como mejoré para poder vivir acá y poder ser un buen elemento para la fuerza laboral de Boston, yo estoy contenta y agradecida.
I improved so I could contribute to be in the aspect of working here in Boston, and for that I am very, very thankful and very grateful.
Bueno, ¿otra persona habla en español aquí? ¿Sí o no? Ok. Bueno, pero ¿cuál es su nombre? Tatiana. Tatiana, gracias por su liderazgo. Es una inspiración para todos nosotros. Su ejemplo de ser no solamente parte de nuestra comunidad, pero un abogada para todos también. La oportunidad para accesar a oportunidad económica, de educación, de crear comunidad, conexiones sociales. Es muy importante para cada comunidad, cada lengua, cada generación también. Entonces, el objetivo de la ciudad de Boston es ser una ciudad para todos. Entonces, necesitamos más ejemplos como ustedes de crear estas conexiones en la comunidad y dar al gobierno las instrucciones para cómo avanzar y aumentar ese impacto. Gracias.
Is there anyone else that would like to share any of their experience? We have time for one more person. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Casildo. I am a single mother of 3 boys. I remember in the COVID time when the kids had to work, take a class from the home, I cried because I didn't know how to help my kids because I didn't have a lot of knowledge about technologies. So having the opportunity to come here to Maverick Landing and take the computer classes, it was a blessing for me. It helped me a lot and bring back my little laptop to my home, make me satisfied, make me happy, and I only can say thank you because now I know about what I learned in computer. Now I know how to help my kids. I know how to work with them now. Thank you so much for sharing with you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the course. Thank you for engaging with Maverick Landing and being a willing participant. You are part of the solution, and so we appreciate you. All right? Sure. One more.
The woman who took the course, and she has opened her own business, has learned how to put her menu online. So, dile tu historia, porque es muy bonita.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Jenny Álvarez, tengo un emprendimiento que se llama Antojitos. Quiero darle las gracias a la alcaldía, a Apoyo Mutuo y a Maverick Landing por la oportunidad de haber podido estar en las clases de tecnología de los computadores, porque me abrieron como a un mundo más amplio para poder llevar mi negocio a otro nivel. Entonces, poder llevar la contabilidad, poder hacer textos, poder buscar proveedores en línea, eso ha cambiado mucha parte de mi negocio. Estoy muy agradecida con todo lo que he logrado por el apoyo de todos ustedes. Muchas gracias.
This is exactly what we want to see. The opportunity to connect with the next generation, to empower the first teachers in our homes, to apoyar a nuestros negocios pequeños en toda la comunidad. I'm so grateful that Tech Goes Home. We've been very proud to have them as a partner for the City of Boston for a long time. And as in some ways, this organization was way early and ahead of the curve, way before the pandemic. They were seeing that this was the area where not enough attention and resources and training were going to close the gap. So I'm so thankful for all of you and for this partnership.
Well, Mayor, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for not only your leadership around how to think outside of the box to create these opportunities, but for your extensive support by developing funds and other resources that we can expand this work to reach more people and to make a real impact. So thank you. And I am going to ask that Rita give us some closing statements before we discontinue this conversation.
Thank you so much for everyone for coming here today. Gracias a todo por venir hoy. I don't know if all of you know, but I didn't know until earlier today, it's Digital Inclusion Week. Es la semana para celebrar inclusión y que seamos inclusivos en incluir programación de computadora para todos. Entonces, estamos muy felices de hacer parte de esa celebración. We're really excited to celebrate Digital Inclusion Week here with you. And it touched my heart to hear about how access to technology has really changed your lives. Me tocó mucho el corazón oír de cómo el acceso a la tecnología ha cambiado su vida. Gracias.
I definitely feel like I need to take my Spanish class a little bit more serious. But I want to thank you all for participating today. We really appreciate your presence. We appreciate your stories. We appreciate your ability to navigate through the terrain and to continue to push forward, not allowing the gaps that exist to prevent you from creating success for you and your families. We thank you for your children being here. This is the next generation. It is good for them to witness this work and for them to experience what technology looks like today, and then they will evolve and grow to become more mature adults who create other successes for all of us. So thank you all, and this concludes this portion of today. And again, yes, this is Digital Inclusion Week. Thank you for joining us.
Greetings, Mayor.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as always. We've been knowing each other for many years.
That's right.
It is great to have you to have this conversation about Digital Inclusion Week and Tech Goes Home and what digital equity means to the city of Boston. I want to thank you personally for your leadership in the city and how you have bridged the gap between the traditionalism and the innovation that is required to advance this city. And so we are really excited about being able to spend a few moments with you to talk about this topic.
Right back at you.
All right.
I'm so excited to see you in this role and to be moving in these spaces where it's more urgent than ever.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let's jump into it. So why is advancing digital equity in Boston so important?
We're known in many ways as a city, and sometimes those images are kind of contradictory, right? We're known as this place of history dating back hundreds of years, and sometimes that comes with a sense of we're gonna stick with tradition until we're forced not to.
Right.
And then we're also known as the cutting edge place for innovation, whether it's on the healthcare field or tech or just shaping the direction of this country. In this moment, to do both of those things, to respect the history and legacy that we represent, and to ensure that our residents are positioned to be in these innovative jobs of the future, digital infrastructure is really that basic, necessary investment that we all need to make. And it's not just the physical wires and making sure connections are plugged in the right way, although that is very important, but it's the fluency for our residents as well, and finding where the gaps are, really connecting them to the other initiatives that we have. So we're layering this on top of, or really as the foundation under everything that we're doing.
We talk a lot about family. Why is it more important to invest in the family instead of just one individual?
I think for those of us who have experienced what it means to need services or to even just try to move through the things that you need to do in your life, when you're up against systems that often aren't designed to serve every family, you start to see, right, through the experience of an elder relative you're caring for, or a child, or your partner, or other people in your constellation, that we have to move together. And I try to apply that concept of family to the larger community as well. We in Boston are kind of fiercely proud of our individual corner in the city, right? And you ask people where they're from, they'll say, I'm from this street, in this neighborhood. How do we start to really build a city where family means the entire city of Boston? We have as much stake in each other's future as our own kind of exact surroundings. And how do we deliver services in a way that is planning for that multi-generational experience? Because it's not just from what do kids need and what do seniors need? What are they giving? What do they contribute? It makes us a richer, more vibrant, more welcoming city when we're really empowering everyone to tap in and contribute their full talent.
Well, you just described Tech Goes Home, so thank you very much for giving us a plug. What efforts are currently underway at improving digital access and inclusion?
Well, I mean, you all have been the vanguard for a very long time, and I've so appreciated, my very first lessons in what the digital divide even was came from sitting with Tech Goes Home years ago, before the pandemic, before everything went on Zoom and online. You all were there saying it's really this three-legged stool of having the internet access, having the equipment and the devices, and then having the skills and training. And that model of, again, how do we take care of an entire family, every generation, with each of those three pieces is really important. So we're really just trying, in some ways, to follow your lead on this. We have a digital equity fund that the city's created to try to work with community organizations like you all, like others, who can directly enroll people in the Affordable Connectivity Program, for example. We have enrolled 45,000 families to date out of a 58,000 family gap that we're trying to close, almost there. And it's through innovations such as your classes that empower residents. It's partnering with healthcare nonprofits who are enrolling people as they're waiting in the waiting room to see the doctor. And so our goal is to not just be satisfied with creating the existence of services, but to make sure they're affordable, high quality, and create the choice that residents deserve.
Yeah, and I just want to echo that we appreciate the team, the staff, the Do It group who are being innovative on how they're going to reach people where they are and not expecting them to come for the resource itself. So that's excellent. And that's doing well under your leadership, so thank you. But as mayor, let me ask you this question. How do you envision the role of the city in advancing and maintaining a digital equitable Boston?
It's funny. I was just in a Zoom room with mayors from all around the country, specifically talking about what the goals are and actions that different cities are taking. In a lot of places around the country, the city's role is to try to chase down basic infrastructure, particularly in rural areas and in other places where even just finding one internet service provider to build the trenches and do the work. We are in a very different place in Boston, and I realize that in that room. We're talking about not just ensuring that we're trying to plug people in, but going after families one by one by one. The way we think of it is really to map it onto other city services. So the vast majority of the residents who are still experiencing that digital divide and gap live in subsidized housing or public housing, or in communities where traditionally there's been an underinvestment of resources. And so we're really trying to go wrap ourselves all around in every way. We are looking at three different public housing developments in everything from the buildings to the programming to the relationships and educational programs. How do we, as we're building climate-friendly buildings, ensure that they're also equipped with the spaces for the access and the cables to be initially installed, and then also to be maintained over time with easy access? How do we ensure that in schools, in public buildings, and in people's day-to-day lives at home, we're really providing that fundamental infrastructure for them to be able to tap into, and then bring on the experts in the room to provide services? Well,
no, we appreciate that. And I actually want to acknowledge that the awards that you gave out last week in Mattapan at a housing unit and talked about the wicked free Wi-Fi, and I was able to see the machinery and everything. I mean, it's amazing to see like how you can connect people in one space and what impact it really gives them. I mean, we heard the stories earlier, we talked to different people, they tell us their scenarios, but it's one thing to actually be able to see it in person. And so that's exciting for us. You talked about ACP, and I just want to talk a little bit about what role do you think government programs like ACP, Affordable Connectivity Program, can play in making sure that everyone is connected?
It's been so important. That program has really been a godsend in terms of families who understand that the gap is there. We heard from parents, for example, in the other room saying, I was panicked at how to help support my young person when everything went online. They recognize and know and very tangibly feel the gap, but sometimes there are trade-offs that no one should have to make between other important costs for the family, other new outfits for school, or food on the table, or medicines, or internet access. It's just we should be in a society and a city certainly where those fundamentals are there for everyone, and having access to programs like ACP with the affordability makes that first barrier come down. There's still others that we're working on. We know that funding for this program is set to run out soon, and so it's
We have to push
all
we have
hands
to push
on deck
the envelope a little
to
bit
get the federal government there, and then to
Yeah.
partner with the state and other resources as well.
Right. So I know you have to wrap up and time is of the essence, but let me ask you one last question here. What are additional challenges and or opportunities that are ahead of us when it comes to advancing digital equity in Boston?
I think the challenge is that our administration loves data. Boston loves analyzing, getting on the numbers.
We're all analysts.
We don't have access to great data about who exactly is not connected. We know the number, the sort of universe of how many families are not plugged in, but we don't know exactly where they are and who they are. And so we've been working, and again, 45,000 families signed up so far, but closing that final gap, it would be helpful just to be able to really identify where those buildings are, where those families are, through a more direct way than kind of word of mouth and all the efforts that we're collectively doing. And so that's something I'm trying to think through. And then in terms of opportunities, Boston we are the envy of so many other cities with the mix of industries and resources and activism from our residents. We want to make sure that digital connectivity and this kind of shift that is going to happen, whether or not we are at the forefront of it, that becomes a vehicle for us to do more and bring more people in, rather than one more wall that gets put up. And I feel very confident about the partners that we have in the space, the energy, and all the work that we were ahead of the curve on. So it's exciting to be able to see that really get to the next level.
Yeah, it's exciting to witness the outcomes of the work, right? Because we deal with a lot of the infrastructure in the background and developing the systems and so forth, but to actually see what happens on the ground, to see the people, to hear those stories, I continue to just be overjoyed by hearing people's testimonies about this work. And so is there anything you want to say in closing as we wrap up Digital Inclusion Week? Is there anything you would like to say that would give us some inspiration around how we continue pushing this work forward?
Our vision is for Boston to be a city for everyone. That means that wherever you are in the world, if you're 6 generations deep in our neighborhoods, or you're just making your way to our country for the first time into our city, that this is home. And in a pretty volatile and sometimes unpredictable world these days, weather and politics and situations just coming out of the blue, our connectedness is more important than ever. We are doing everything we can to be physically connected in the city, build spaces and create programs. But this is the type of connectivity that actually can open the door to all the rest of it. Right. And it's all of our responsibility to ensure that we're not resting just because we have the lowest gap anywhere in the country. We will not be satisfied until every resident is on high speed, trained, that they're making their new businesses, right, and taking every advantage of education, that all the energy that's in our communities, this can really unleash. And so it's going to take a little bit of work, but we are in it, and I'm so grateful for all the partners.
Well, Mayor, we thank you. We really appreciate not only your time, not only your vision, but your willingness to implement. Because a lot of leaders will talk about how this could work, but then there are leaders like yourself who are working to create the solution. So we thank you. We really appreciate you. This is the closing of our fireside chat today. And it is our hope that you will value the conversation that has been taking place here today. And you'll continue not only to support this mayor's leadership, the work of Tech Goes Home, but you will help to advance someone that is sitting next to you that might not have access. You will sign them up with whatever program is near you to ensure that they are a part of the digital inclusion and not on the other side of the digital divide. We thank you. Have a great day.